kingdom building.
If you come against the scriptures, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our heritage, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man, we gon' rise up, rise up. We rise up. If you come against the king, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our Elohim, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man, we gon' rise up, we rise up. Rise up and rise up.
The floor is yours. Daniel chapter 9, verses 3 through 19. So I set my face toward Yahuwah, the Elohim, to seek by prayer and supplications, with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed to Yahuwah, my Elohim, and made confession, and said, O Yahuwah, great and awesome El, guarding the covenant and loving commitment to those who love him, and to those who guard his commands. We have sinned and did crookedness, and did wrong and rebelled, to turn aside from your commands and from your right rulings. And we have not listened to your servants, the prophets, who spoke in your name to our sovereigns, our heads, and our fathers, and to the people of the land. O Yahuwah, to you is the righteousness, and to us the shame of face. And it is this day to the men of Yehudah, to the inhabitants of Yerushalayim, and all Israel, to those near and those far off in all the lands to which you have driven them, because of their trespasses which they have trespassed against you. O Master, to us is the shame of face, to our sovereigns, to our heads, and to our fathers, because we have sinned against you. You, to Yahuwah, our Elohim, are the compassions and forgiveness, for we have rebelled against him. And we have not obeyed the voice of Yahuwah, our Elohim, to walk in his Torah, which he set before us through his servants, the prophets. And all Israel have transgressed your Torah and turned aside, so as not to obey your voice. So the curse and the oath written in the Torah of Moshe, the servant of Elohim, have been poured out onto us. For we have sinned against him, and he has confirmed his words, which he spoke against us and against our rulers who judged us, by bringing upon us great evil. For under all the heavens there has not been done like. For under all the heavens there has not been done like what was done to Yerushalayim. As it is written in the Torah of Moshe, all this evil has come upon us, and we have not entreated the face of Yahuwah our Elohim, to turn back from our crookedness and to study your truth. Hence Yahuwah has watched over the evil and has brought it upon us. For Yahuwah our Elohim is righteous in all the works which he has done, but we have not obeyed his voice. And now, O Yahuwah, our Elohim, who brought your people out of the land of Mizraim with a strong hand, and made yourself a name, as it is this day, we have sinned and we have done wrong. O Yahuwah, according to all your righteousness, I pray, let your displeasure and let your wrath be turned away from your city, Yerushalayim, your set-apart mountain. For because of our sins and because of the crookedness of our fathers, Yerushalayim and your people have become a reproach to all those around us. And now, our Elohim, hear the prayer of your servant and his supplications, and for the sake of Yahuwah, because your face Cause your face to shine on your set-apart place, which is laid waste. O my Elohim, incline your ear and hear. Open your eyes and see your ways, and the city which is called by your name. For we do not present supplication before you because of our righteous deeds, but because of your great compassions. O Yahuwah, hear. O Yahuwah, forgive. O Yahuwah, listen and act. Do not delay for your own sake, my Elohim. For your city and your people are called by your name.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. All praise to the Most High for the reading of His Word. Once again, we read that the last time we were here, and I said that we're going to read that for the next few weeks because I want that to be like the prayer that we are having amongst ourselves for providing these prayers and supplications to the Most High, repenting for what our ancestors have done, repenting for what we have done, repenting for what those of us, our brothers and sisters who have not waken up to their heritage and the covenant, repenting for the things that they're currently doing. We need to make sure that we're praying for our family. We cannot forget who we are. We are a covenant people, a bloodline. This isn't church. We have to repent for what our ancestors did. I'm ready to return. I am ready. This world, this society is becoming more and more wicked. The schools, the things that they're starting to put into the schools within the curriculums and things like that, trying to condition our children to see things that should not be seen, to accept stuff, to be desensitized. I'm ready to go. We have to repent for what our ancestors have done. We have to repent for what we have done and what our brothers and sisters who don't know. Pray that the Most High will open up their eyes and make them aware of this covenant, and make them aware that we are responsible to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. And I'll go ahead and I'll read Psalms 119. Psalms 119, starting at verse 17. Deal bountifully with your servant, that I may live and keep your word. Open my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of your law. I am a sojourner on the earth. Hide not your commandments from me. My soul is consumed with longing for your rules at all times. You rebuke the insolent, accursed ones who wander from your commandments. Take away from me scorn and contempt, for I have kept your testimonies. Even though princes sit plotting against me, your servant will meditate on your statutes. Your testimonies are my delight. They are my counselors. Verse 25. My soul clings to the dust. Give me life according to your word. When I told of my ways, you answered me. Teach me your statutes. Make me understand the way of your precepts, and I will meditate on your wondrous works. My soul melts away for sorrow. Strengthen me according to your word. Put false ways far from me, and graciously teach me your law. I have chosen the way of faithfulness. I set your rules before me. I cling to your testimonies, O Yah. Let me not be put to shame. I will run in the way of your commandments when you enlarge my heart. We're going to go ahead and move forward with the service, and we're going to have my wife come up, and she's going to lead us with the Shema. Feel free to loosen up, sing along.
Please do. Y'all can stand. So everybody should know the Shema, right? have been here before, I didn't know I was going to do this one today. Before we would have like a congregation to gather with, and I've explained this story, sorry for those who have heard it, right? And so our family, we will of course keep Shabbat at home. And you know, sometimes we're very musical people, so we just make up songs. So we have the song that we made up, and Frankie, I'll start it and then catch on. It's really easy for those that have never been here, so I'm gonna do the words and y'all can join in. All right. We're both fighting. Get better. All right, so make a joyful noise unto the Most High. Make a joyful noise unto Yah. Make a joyful noise unto the Most High. Make a joyful noise unto Yah. Elohim we worship, Elohim we praise, Elohim we worship you. Elohim we worship, Elohim we praise, Elohim we worship you. Real easy. Make a joyful noise unto the Most High.
come into this walk and a lot of the times we abandon things like praise and worship because it feels Christian. But it's so important. It does set the atmosphere. It does put your mind in the right spot to focus on Yah. Let's not abandon everything. Christianity does not have a monopoly on praising the Most High. We are His children. He made the covenant with us. Hallelujah. 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 Keep it going. Hallelujah. 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 That's right. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Keep going. Keep going. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yes, son. We serve you. We thank you for opening our eyes. Hear the voices of your children, Father. The fruit of our lips, Father. Let it be pleasing to your ears. Accept these voices as sacrifices of praise and glory. We thank you for everything that you do. Our health, our minds, our family, our connections, our friends, our community, Father. Our eyes that you allow us to see who we are in church and stuff, Father. We thank you for these voices that we use to lift up your name. Yahuwah Elohim. There is none like you on earth, in the heavens, in the Shamayim, under the earth. You are the creator of all things. And we give you praise, we give you honor, we give you glory.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Come and keep saying, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Thank you for your son, Yahushua HaMashiach, that you gave, Father. Only you fulfill that covenant. We have forgiveness, that atonement sacrifice, Father. We give you praise. As we go into the lesson, I pray that something here that is spoken, that is said, that is released to the atmosphere will allow someone to go deeper in you, to take their walk more seriously, to take something practical out of this so that they can change their everyday life and be the proper light, the proper representation that you has initially chosen us to be. Father, our ancestors turned away from the covenant. But in this time, in this season, Father, you chose us, this generation, to be the ones who will wake up and be that voice, speaking out, return to the covenant, return to the law, statutes, and commandments. Worship you in spirit and in truth, Most High Yah. This is that time, this is that season. We are that generation, Father, and we thank you for choosing this generation. And I am grateful, we are grateful to be a part of that. In the name of your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, we pray. Hallelujah. Take your seats. I like the research, right? Anybody else in here like the research? All right, I like to read, I like to research, I like to go deep. I like to have a lot of discussions about things that you can't just have with the average person, right? What good is all of that? What does that profit you if you know knowledge upon knowledge upon knowledge, books upon books upon books? You can rebuke, you can quote scriptures, but the inside of you is messed up. What does that profit you? I love all those things. I love reading, love researching. Before I came into this walk, I was really big into researching. I knew all about the fluoride, the vaccines, and all of that stuff way before I knew who I was. But what does any of that have to gain? If we have do anybody know what Arrested Development is? And I'm not talking about the TV show. What was that? Not a group, not the TV show. So the name is Arrested Development, a practical examination. And just so you know, I was sick last week, so I'm still my voice is a little raspy and sorry. I may fumble over my words a little bit, but all praise to the Most High. I'm able to be here in front of you guys, with you guys, around you guys. So, what does it mean to arrest? What is arrest? Let's start there. To what? To stop. What else? To hold. Seize. To seize. Okay. So we got to stop. To hold the seize. Anybody else want to add to that? To what? That's what the police do. They try, but no, that's not what we're talking about. Anything else we want to add to arrested? Restrain, okay. Held against your will. All right, here we go. Let's see what the textbook definition of it is. It is to, seize, capture, specifically to take into custody by authority by law of police. All right, that's not what we want to focus on. We want to focus on this. To bring to a stop. Someone said stop, right? To check, to slow, to make inactive. Arrested development. So, if that's what arrested means, or arrest is to bring to a stop, check, slow, to make inactive, what is development?
Progress.
Say that again. Progress. Arrested development is to what?
Progress.
The act or process of developing growth or progress. That's what development is, right? So, when I look at the youth who are up here, who I'm always proud of, because every time I ask questions, they're so quick to give their feedback, and they're usually accurate. I love that. Just what can make them stop? They're so involved. Most children coming in, they're not involved in something like this. We don't have a kids class, but we have youth in here who will answer questions. We got the youth group, and they're some of the first ones to answer all the time.
Yeah.
That's progress. They wasn't doing that a few months ago. That's progress. I'm not taking credit for that. All praises to the Most High God, but I'm grateful that we have children, we have youth in here who does that. But what can make them stop doing that? Discouragement? Okay, what else?
Not caring about it anymore.
Not caring about it anymore. Why would you not care about this type of stuff anymore?
I don't believe that.
You don't have a reason to? Because you still care about it. She said, I don't know what would make them stop caring about it. I'm just saying, that's what makes some people stop, but not me. Buckets. What else? Not believe. Look at you answering.
Yes.
Look at you answering. That's what I'm talking about. See, the word says, train up a child in the ways that they should go. When they're old, they will not what?
Depart.
Depart. There are a lot of things. Okay, let's get back to that. What are some of the things that can stop stop them? What can arrest their development?
Distraction.
Distractions. What type of distractions? That's very good. What type of distractions? My man in the back raised his hand again. What's up? What you got?
You know there's some commercials that make some toys look cool
Uh-huh.
that do not.
That's true. That can happen. What else? What kind of distractions can arrest your development?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. What was that? Oh, we're getting full. So if you're on a, can y'all just kind of like squeeze? If you got a seat in the middle, kind of squeeze in. We're running out of seats. Which all praise to the Most High. That's a good thing. Trying to get people. Okay, so where did we get? What was the last one I ever said?
Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. What you got? Threats. What kind of threats? You say killing, murder, captivity. That can definitely especially if it's a false charge, right? If someone falsely accused, if you're 13 years old, 14 years old, and someone falsely accuses you of something, and you get put in some type of juvenile detention center, or y'all forbid some type of incarceration center, that would absolutely arrest your development, wouldn't it? Absolutely. Peer pressure. But it's not just you. So let's say that you just so happen to become an adult. You made it, you navigated the playing field that has been laid for us in this game. And you made it to adulthood, and you're not incarcerated, you're not arrested and whatnot. What can begin to arrest your development as an adult?
Negative feedback.
Negative feedback? What else? What else? Jobs?
Jobs where you can't like be decided.
That could actually, right? Yeah, it'll make you. Yeah, that's good. Push you in a bad position.
The world making it seem relevant.
World making it seem irrelevant. That's good.
Wrong mindset.
Wrong mindset.
Just stopping your walk, stopping not studying, not coming to fellowship.
That's big. Not fellowship because we rub off on each other, right? We rub off on each other. Right. And we're actually gonna get to that later. So let's see. What else we got? No, I had it off. Can we happen to do some of this? Develop those things?
Bad habits. Yeah, for sure.
You can develop good habits. You can develop a habit to be punctual, right? We're always on time. That's not really our thing. I mean, that's something that we could do. We don't do, but that's not really our thing. But yeah, we can develop these type of habits, right? To where they can lead you on a course. So, does it have to be a big habit?
No.
You said no.
That's not.
Okay, what is a habit? It is an acquired. So somewhere along your development, you acquired a mode of behavior that has become nearly or completely what?
Involuntary.
It's voluntary. Here's another one. I'm not even going to focus on that one, although that absolutely could, but I'm going somewhere with this. A behavior pattern acquired by frequent repetition or what?
That shows some regularity or increased sensitivity.
Get these habits somewhere along the line. Because just like we can rub off on each other, if you're around the wrong people, they're going to rub off on you as well. And you pick up habits from them. All right, so what we're going to go on today is we're going to look at some practical things, right? That a lot of people, I don't know about y'all, but a lot of people have, these things have negatively affected them, or we have picked up these habits along the way, and we need to do something to get us back on to the path and get our development back to where it should be with the Most High. All right, so what is Torah? We asked this question earlier when we were going over in Hebrew. What is Torah? Instructions, that's right, look at it, I love the kids. What is a Moreh? A Moreh is a teacher. Okay. What do these words have in common? Most of you won't know this. That's why I try to give a hint. But go ahead.
The teacher gives instructions.
A teacher gives instructions. A teacher gives instructions. These two words have the same root. What was that? Yes, yes. They have the same root. Hebraically speaking, I didn't even put the name of it because we should be able to read this by now. What's that? What's the Hebrew word? Yod, Resh, Hey. You got the correct? Yahweh? Yahweh. Yarah. Good job. Yarah. That is the same root word. And so what does this mean? It's to throw, to cast, to shoot arrows. All right? To direct, teach, instruct. So when you look at this word, it has to do with archery. Some of you may have heard about Torah and its relationship with archery. All right? We're going to get into that in a second. Here we go. The Hebrew word. What Hebrew word is that? That's Torah. Good job. It's usually translated into the English word law. Because of this translation, there is a great misunderstanding of what Torah truly is. Torah is not law. When we use the word law, and this is not coming from me, this is from ancienthebrew.org. When we use the word law, we assume a certain meaning and concept of the word that is not present in the Hebrew scriptures. Let us start by looking at the etymology of the Hebrew word Torah, so that we may better understand its true definition. The word Torah comes from the Hebrew root, we just said that, Yarah, a verb which means to flow or throw something. This could be a throwing of an arrow from an archer's bow, or the flowing of a finger to point out a direction, right? Instructions. And Moreh is the one who does the flowing. This can be an archer who flows an arrow, or a teacher who flows his finger to point out the way a student should go in the walk of life. So why is that significant? All right. What is the shortest distance between 2 points? Straight line. Straight line. Y'all know that, right? Okay. So, if this is my target, right here, and I'm right here, and I'm aiming, and I close my eyes, you think I get that bullseye? No, this is short distance. I should be able to right now. I mean, if I can't, like, come on now. I'm right here.
Right.
She's getting some crazy. Yes, if I'm right here and I pull my arrow back on, this is only this much of this. Let's be able. When you think about the kingdom, which one of y'all know when the kingdom is going to be established and manifest on earth? None of us know. Nobody knows. None of us know when the kingdom is going to manifest, right? All right. So keep that in mind. So I'm there. I put an arrow. I can hit the target. Now, if I close my eyes from here, can I hit the target?
Yeah.
It's still possible, but it's not a guarantee like it was before. So the further I move back, the less of a chance. There's more things that can hinder this, right? You can have wind now that can start affecting, my hands can start shaking, right? What am I getting at? Going back to what I was saying earlier about reading, researching, and all of these things, which are great, but while we shooting this arrow towards the mark is the Torah. So we're aiming, and we're shooting these arrows. So we got all this knowledge, right? And as we aim, we shoot. Okay, we can hit it. But as we go further back in time, because the further we go back, we are not able to really gauge the distance. If we have something in us that is unchecked, that we don't adjust as we're aiming for this target, we can think that everything that we're doing right now, all of this reading, research, and all of this stuff is going to get us there. But these things that's unchecked is what's throwing us off the course. So, as we're aiming for this rock, and we got a bad attitude, that hurts our walk. So now, instead of aiming there, I'm over here. What else we got? What else we got that's gonna make me miss? We got lust. But I know the scriptures though. But I'm lustful. So we're gonna go over a little bit more. And what else we got? You say what? Well, I can't hear you. Disobedience. But I know the word, right? I'm correcting everybody on Facebook. I don't get no credit for that? Come on, y'all. I don't get no credit for correcting them on Facebook. What if I point out, I'm pointing out that Christmas is pagan, right?
Oh, God.
But I'm disobedient in my own way. The beam in your eye. So, once again, we're moving over. We're moving over. And these things are constantly causing us to miss our mark every time we're shooting, but we're thinking we're doing something. And these things have to be checked, they have to be corrected. In the military, there's something called Kentucky windage. I used to be in the military. We used to shoot. Kentucky windage is if you shoot at a target, let's say I'm aiming here. I hit here because of the wind, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust. I'm going to start aiming here, and the wind is going to allow me to hit the target. But you got to know that you have to adjust. You can't change anything if you don't know that you need to adjust, right? So what are we about to focus on? In our community, and this is the Israelite community, what do we need to adjust?
Character.
Work. What was that?
Work.
Work, okay. Explain. Okay, I'll help you, brother. We have a misconception that everything we do on Facebook is the work of the Most High. Right? So let me help you real quick. So, you have stuff that you can say on Facebook that can actually pique people's interest and cause them to research, right? But if you're limiting that to the only work that you're doing for the kingdom, then you're falling short of the mark. Because what are we supposed to do? We're supposed to take care of the homeless,
Yeah.
the widow, right?
The fatherless.
The fatherless, right? What about our community? Are we helping each other? How are we treating each other? These are the things, this is a real work. It's not just being on Facebook. Facebook can wake somebody up. But what's inside of you? What else are you doing? So that's some of the work that we could be doing, right? Right. Okay. So anything else you think we need to adjust in our community?
Like self-hate.
Self-hate?
Yeah, like a lot of that's going on.
Believe it or not, I agree. I do think there's self-hate in our community. I do. Because we still treat each other the same way. We know who we are. But we still treat each other the same way. We still look at Africa like,
Negative connotation.
yeah, it's a negative connotation when we look at Africa. There's more Hebrews over there than over here. Anything else before we move on?
Fellowship. I walk.
Fellowship, or walk, yes. So check it. This is what we're going to focus on today, right? What we say, what we think, and what we see. All right, so most of the scriptures I'm going to use today is out of the book of Proverbs. Any of y'all like to read the book of Proverbs? See, I wasn't in my pants. Look, the book of Proverbs, and don't get into the sacrificial law and stuff like that, But the book of Proverbs is one of the best books to read if you want to know how to live life. If you want to know how to live life, read the book of Proverbs. You want to know how to treat people? Read the book of Proverbs. You want to know how to disagree with somebody and not get into a fight? Read the book of Proverbs. You want to know that you need to work? Because we got a lot of brothers in this community. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to put this on blast right now. We got a lot of brothers in this community who think that they can have some multiple wives and why they stay at home and work while their wives are working. They think that their job is just to read scriptures while their wife goes out there and work.
That's right.
Right? We got a lot of brothers out here who think that it's, you know, if you're making garments and you're selling garments, you're trying to fleece the people, you're getting over, but you're working. You need money to make money. You need money to get the material to make the garments. But they think that, oh no, you're supposed to just give everything away. We have a mindset. We have a very warped mindset. I don't know where this comes from. But we got some issues in our community. Like, so if you want to know what the book of Proverbs say, if you want to know about what will happen to you if you're lazy, what will happen to you if you don't work, read the book of Proverbs. It talks about not oppressing people. It talks about walking in integrity. It talks about judging righteously. All of these things that we read in the Torah is in Proverbs, except for stuff like sacrifice. So if you want to have a righteous walk, study this. Look, one who is wise and cautious and turns away from evil, but a fool is reckless and careless. A man of quick temper acts foolishly. We know that. But this is actually repeated over and over and over. So at some point, throughout the 32 chapters in Proverbs, hopefully you get it. A man of quick temper acts foolishly, and the man of evil is hated. In all told, there's profit. But mere talk leads to what? Whoever oppresses a poor man insults who?
His maker.
But he who is generous to the needy honors him. A hot-tempered man stirs up strife, but he who is slow to anger we quick to snap. We quick to snap, right? Commit your work to who?
Yeah.
Your brother.
Yeah.
Your sister.
Yeah.
Your father.
Yeah.
Your friend.
Yeah.
Commit your work to Yah, and your plans will be what?
Established.
Whoever is slow to anger is better than the mighty. And he who rules his spirit than he who takes the city. So you need to tell me, if you conquering something, we know colonization has been very rapid across the world. But a person who controls his spirit is better than someone who can conquer a city. What does that tell? So what we say, this is what we have to pay attention to. We read this is a famous scripture. If you just went to church for a couple of months, you probably heard this at some point. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruits. This is the ESV version. What does that mean? We read that. We quote that. Is that real to you? What does that mean to you?
Things that you say, words of promise or whatever you speak will manifest. Because it's whatever is in your heart and mind and your heart and mind.
Okay.
So whatever you speak, if you're going to be negative, then it could be good.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So if it's positive, that's what you'll establish in your home. So
Okay.
words are very.
Did y'all hear what she said? Do y'all agree? But is that real to you? Or is it philosophy?
It's real.
It's real.
It's very real.
How do we know it's real?
See it
It was
manifest.
everybody
See it manifest.
Like the music, you know what I'm saying? If you constantly, I'm a thug, I'm a savage, I'm a dope, Dylan Keller.
The fruit you're going to produce is that.
What do you say, like Chicago?
You have a profession of a motivational speaker, and you have a profession of a pimp. One builds up, one breaks down.
Where's our frequency, right? Where's our frequency? I ain't trying to get into this from y'all, so don't. But everyone has a certain energy that they carry. Where's our frequency? These things are real. We believe that that Wi-Fi can carry data from here to there, right?
Right.
We can use cell phones and talk to someone in another state, another country, right? So there's something going on that we can't see. With words, it's the same way. There's a test. Anybody ever heard of the Rice experiment?
Yep.
Yeah, 2 people, 3 people have heard of the Rice experiment. Okay, so you're gonna learn something today. Now, I'm not saying anything about the scientists who performed this. I don't know, I'm not familiar with all of his work. But what I do know is one thing about science is that it should be duplicated. You should be able to duplicate it. It shouldn't just be something that one person has done and say, hey, well, this is that. No, it's supposed to be observable and it's supposed to be able to be duplicated. If not, theoretically speaking, it's not science. So the Rice test is an experiment that a doctor performed. I can't remember his name, but I'm going to play a video. It's only like 4 minutes. This is not from the doctor. This is from someone who's actually attempting to do what the doctor did. Millions of people have tried this, all with similar results, unless they went into it with a negative mindset. So, give me 1 second.
Okay, Rice experiment. Actually, maybe this should be called the consciousness experiment, because that's what this is about. Okay, so obviously these are just little glass jars, the lids, all washed up. And here is some cooked rice. Not much, because the rest of it is in my tummy. Now, this is going in here. 1 spoonful in there. There you go, 2 little glass containers of rice. Love and hate. So, I'm going to take the love, I'm going to stick this one, so I'm going to stick it across the top. Love, hate. Every day, I'm going to love this rice. Send it some love. Just think love. And with this rice, I'm going to think hate, horrid, hated, evil rice.
So what's going on in this test, and you could be looking at
That's going to be the only
what's going
difference
on with this test that's been duplicated
identical
is that
containers of rice.
they will cook the rice, they put it in these jars, the sterilize, put it in these jars, and
Day 3,
they do it for a certain amount of time.
fennel seed,
What he's doing, he's saying day 3.
still fine. The love
They would
rice.
speak words. They would speak words
Still
of love to
completely fine.
one jar, and they would speak hateful things to the
This
other
is
jar.
the hate rice. Nothing to report. No changes.
Day 3, there's nothing.
Still no change. Day 4. See you tomorrow. Okay, so this is day 5. And I think you can see on the hate rice, blue mold. And you can see that it's started to mold. Day 5. Day 6. And you can see the mold growing there on the hate rice. Look at that. Day 7.
Life and death is in the power of the tongue.
You better talk.
Day 9. The effects of thought on reality. The difference between these 2 pieces of rice, one has got bad negative energy going to it, and one has got love, good energy. The impact of consciousness on reality. Day 10. Day 11. So this is day 13. I dropped this little jam jar of rice, but I think you can see that's gone really bad. It's gone disgustingly bad.
Okay, so that was the rice test. The rice test has been duplicated by hundreds of thousands of people. What they've done, took that rice, One of them that speak words of love, caring words to one of them, speak hateful words to the other one. And I've seen one test that was like 6, and actually they had one that was a control light, where it was ignored. So even if a person is not speaking hateful words, but you're ignoring them, even that has a negative effect on them.
Wow.
It's not quite as bad as if you're speaking hateful things to someone. But if someone is ignored, this is why people who feel like no one knows that they exist go through the type of issues that they go through. But those people who are constantly being spoken to in a negative manner, in the inside, they're being destroyed. So this is why I ask, like, is it real to you? Does this really make sense? When we see that scripture, life and death is in the power of the tongue, like, what does that really mean? Is that true? Or is that just words that somebody said? And it sounds good. It's literally real. Yes, we see the effects when someone is going through this type of stuff. When someone is being spoken to like that. So this is so elementary. And it's easier said than done. Right? Who, what, when, where, why, and how. We can get into argument. Go ahead, what you got?
Can it be the same like image transfer?
What do you mean?
Long story short, when, where my kids were going to school, all the teachers were predominantly Caucasian.
Mm-hmm.
So one day I was washing my hair and it was big, and my daughter said, "Oh, look at your hair." And I said, "What's wrong with it?" And she said, "Well, my teacher's hair don't look like that. Her hair is pretty and it's long and stuff." And I said, "Well, this is the way God made my hair." But even if you're not speaking negatively, the image that she saw dominated how I look, because she and I don't alike. Correct.
And yes, it can be projected in that fashion as well. This is what society did to us.
That's right.
They changed the images, and they now, when you see society, the standard of beauty is the Caucasian, right? Very, very slim. Certain features, right? Certain nose structure, certain facial features, certain body types, certain hair. And now we look at ourselves like we're not good enough, and this is why we have celebrities who are bleaching their skin to get lighter, so that they can be that reflection. Go ahead.
And the melanin's what's it, because they paying $300 to $400 a gram for your melanin in your skin.
And yes,
your lips and everything else.
It's crazy that they can convince you, right? They can convince you that the color of your skin is terrible. You're an animal. You're a beast. But your melanin is worth $400 a gram. And gold, last time I checked, I think was worth $36.
Wow.
Your melanin is worth more than gold. But it will bash you. And it will make you feel bad about the color of your skin. Arrest your development. Now you get up, you grow up, and now you want to be like them. You want to fit in. I'm going to be honest with y'all. Here's a story for you guys. I wasn't even going to say this, but since this came up. There was one point in time, I think it was like 2010. I had real bad acne. And I started getting these microdermabrasion treatments. And at the same time, they started doing these chemical pills. And what began to happen, one of the side effects from these, getting these two things done at the same time, it would peel my skin. And it would help get rid of some of the darker hyperpigmentation. But I started to get lighter. I wish I would have thought of this earlier. I would have put this, I'm going to take a picture up here so you can see what I'm talking about. I started to get lighter. And although I didn't go into it like, oh, I want to get lighter. But I'm like, yo, I like this.
Wow.
I fit in more. I'll be more accepted because my skin is more lighter. And my hair used to be messed up too. I ain't no different. I had something. My development was arrested at one point as well. I'm trying to do everything I can to get it back on track. Everything, right? I'm no different. I had a negative view of us as well. I would much rather hang around them, live around them, and do all of these things because I didn't want to be around our people. I thought locks was terrible. I thought it was terrible. Now, I'm disappointed that I got this ball slide in my head and I can't grow them. But it took, but you know, it wasn't overnight. It wasn't overnight, but it took me to realize the value, right? It took a lot. It took a lot of different things, right? I wasn't just seeking it, but it took, it's over time, when I started learning more and more and more and more and more, I began to look at us differently.
Like the curvy figure, the posterior.
Mm-hmm.
They actually said, maybe they got it, I don't know.
Yeah,
And it's not, it's natural for us. It's natural for us, right? Not, I mean, not for me, but.
You can't beat them, you can't beat them, but you can't beat them. Dress as sister, you can't beat them.
Right.
How I used to be before then, I used to dress with all that class, sophistication inside. Back in the day, we had hats and stuff. I used to dress. You can't let the camera to a sister, but yet still though.
Exactly.
It's covetousness. It's like we want what you have.
And they buy it,
get it naturally, so we're tearing you down for it.
And not only will they tear you down for it, then they'll copy it.
They're copying it.
And then they'll get credit for
And they'll
it.
get credit.
box braids.
Like box braids.
Yeah, right.
Kardashians start wearing braids, and all of a sudden, this is this new hair trend. I know some people in the hood right now that she's like, yo, what are you talking about? But that's what they do. Same thing like you say about the curvy figure and all that stuff. What, you have your hand raised?
Oh, so I watched the video, right? And then one of the Kardashians, like the youngest one, I forgot her name. Even though she was a child role model, she like got some food to make her look strong.
Yeah.
Everything. She got
Our full
and
lips.
everything,
We were trained to hate ourselves.
Yeah.
We were trained to hate ourselves. So all of these things, this self-hate, yes, that absolutely will arrest your development, and you will be looking at your brother and sister like they got a problem when they're telling you, oh, natural hair is great. You're like, oh, you better put a hot comb and a perm, some of that creamy crack in that. But back to the things we say. Back to the things we say. Who, what, where, why, and how. The same things that we were taught in elementary school are the same things that we could consider, especially in this day and age where a lot of our conversation is done, unfortunately, through media, like Facebook or another streaming service or text message. You have more time to think before you respond. So in reality, there's not much of an excuse to type something that's very offensive, to type something that's going to tear down your brother or sister because you have more time to think. It's a little different if me and you having a dialogue, you make me upset, and then I say something, right? Not excusing it, but it is different than when you have a chance to actually look at this message, close the message, sit there and think about what is going to happen if I say this. We don't really think about the consequences. But who? Behold, I send you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. Therefore be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Now, we can't just say whatever we want to whoever we want. Why? Tell me why. Rules. Some people are crazy. Right? Yes, rules too, but some people are crazy.
You know, maybe there are people who are planning to kill you outside.
Crazy. Right.
Not casting you pearls before swine.
Wasting your time. Don't waste your time. Then you know they're not going to accept it. Don't even worry about it. Look, you may be able to have a conversation with one of your friends and they say something and you tell them shut up. If you try that with your boss, what's going to happen? So this ain't about letting people say whatever they want to you, because I'm not saying the boss is disrespectful to you. I'm not giving any type of scenarios, but I'm just giving you a little bit of conventional wisdom, so to speak. Or, you can't just say whatever comes to your mind to whoever you want. Because people are crazy. There are rules. And some people do have authority over you. That's just the way it is. And if you're going to live in a society, guess what? You got to learn when to say something, when not to say something. Pick your battles. Pick your battles. I mean, this is not a deep lesson. But I think we need to be reminded of some of these things because I just see it too much in our community. When? Somebody read that.
Whoever restrains his words has knowledge, And he who has a cool spirit is a man of understanding. Even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent.
A fool who keeps silent is considered wise. That's telling. That is telling. Whoever restrains his words has knowledge. Is it hard to restrain when you're upset? It is. I'm not going to lie to you. It is. But how much damage are we causing our brothers and sisters by not doing it? How much damage are we causing our spouses? Right? Let's take it deeper.
Children.
Our children. How much damage are we causing our children, our spouses, our friends by not restraining our words when we're upset? What? The mouth of a righteous person brings forth wisdom, but the perverse tongue will be cut off. Let's keep it going. Somebody read that.
1 second. What was that verse that?
Oh, okay. Proverbs 10:31.
Thank you.
A soft answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. The tongue of the wise commends knowledge, but the mouth of fools pour out folly.
There was somebody years ago who I was in a relationship with. She was a very hateful person. She was very, very, very evil. And one of the things she said to me, I was trying to leave. I was trying to pack up my clothes and leave. She said to me, in the midst of trying to hit me and all of this stuff, she said, I hope you die. Why would you say that?
Right.
But in that moment, I don't know what it was, because I wasn't even a Christian at this time. So I don't know what it was that got over me and made me say, but at the time I said, I hope you end up happy. Because clearly, something inside of her was off. I wish I still had that restraint now. But something inside of her was off for you to say to someone that I hope you die. But what would have happened if because she was already upset, she was already trying to fight me. So what would have happened if I would have said something in retaliation to what she said? She probably would have been the one to kill me, right? She was crazy. She was legit crazy. But I responded differently. I'm not an expert at this stuff. I'm just giving you an example. Something that actually happened. Something that we need to take into consideration when we have these disputes with our loved ones. Because I don't want to continue to see our brothers and sisters hurting each other. You know the saying, hurt people, hurt people. We've heard of that. But it's true. It's cliche, but it's true. I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will give account for every careless word they speak. Do we consider this?
Oh, that's heavy.
Do we consider that we're going to be judged for our words? That's heavy when you think about it. So, I'm sorry. And then there's something I'm going to point out. There's Proverbs 12:18. There is one whose rash words are like sword thrusts, but the tongue of the wise brings healing. What is a rash word?
Something you didn't even think about saying.
Something you didn't think about saying. What else?
Harsh.
It's harsh.
Inconsiderate.
Inconsiderate. Let's look at this. Acting or attempting to act too hastily or without due consideration. Do anyone know, and maybe you, I mean, you ain't got to raise your hand and say it is you, but do anybody know someone who speaks rashly? Most of us do. Most of us do. Characterized by or showing too great haste or lack of consideration. This is another definition from, I think it's Cambridge. Without thought for what might happen or result, unwise in your actions. And this is one of the few times that the Hebrew and the English actually match up. What word is that? That's what character? You say what? Bata. That's right. Bata, that's what that is. To speak rashly or angrily, to speak thoughtlessly. Okay. Nails in the fence. Check this out. There's a story. I don't know if it's real or not, but I happened to hear it at one point, and I think it's actually a very good illustration on the power of words. There was his father, had two sons, older son and a younger son. And the older son was very, very rash with his words. And he would always say stuff about his brother, his younger brother, that would hurt him. He would constantly say stuff. It was very demeaning. He was very angry. He was very bitter towards his brother. He would say all these hateful words. So his father one day told him, every time you say a hateful word, you got to put a nail in the fence. So what happened? He observed their conversations. The boy going out there, I hate you, such and such, you're ugly, you're fat, you're stupid, you're dumb. Every day, put a nail in their wooden fence. 30 days came. He took him to the fence. Look what happened. You see all of these nails? That actually struck the older brother. He was like, wow, I never thought about that. That's a lot of nails. So, what happened? His father said, okay, for every day that you can go without saying a hateful word to your brother, you can remove a nail. So, what happened? Every day, he would restrain his tongue. He would not say anything. Relax, he would chill. 30 days came, every day he would remove a nail. 30 days came, there was no more nails in the fence. His father took him to the fence. He said, look, son. He's like, look, oh my goodness, that's great. All of these nails are gone. And his father said, what's remaining? And he looked at the fence. He was like, they're holes. Wow. So, what do you take from a story like that? So just because you say something to him and you apologize, guess what? It still hurt. The damage is done. All the apologies in the world ain't gonna take away what was already said to them. Wow. It may help you. What apologies does is apology. The only thing it does is it helps the healing process. That's all an apology really does. Because a lot of people are hurt and they just want you to apologize. Wow. That's it. They just want you to apologize, to admit you did something wrong, that you hurt them. Do you not see that you hurt me? They just want you to apologize. But your apology isn't going to take away anything you have said. Wow. That damage is done. And if it's in a relationship, the only thing you can do is hope that the person is strong enough to carry on. Or not retaliate. Because that happens when you begin to go tit for tat. So now both of you are walking around with nails in you. And then you have a meeting and you have a conversation and you try to rectify everything and okay, cool. Now you try to start over, you back on the same page. But guess what? Still in the back of your mind, everything that was said is still there. You don't forget about what was said. Right? You just acknowledge the fact that they apologized for it. They took responsibility for their actions. So this is why we have to be careful with the way we communicate. It does not go away. I'm not perfect. I'm not flawless. I actually need to work on that as well. I go through it. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I'm above all of this. I'm not. But I'm aware of it. Remember, you can't adjust when you're aiming at the target, you can't adjust unless you see the need to adjust. Right? Whoever guards his mouth preserves his life. He who opens wide his lips comes to ruin. By the mouth of a fool comes a rod for his back. The lips of the wise will preserve them. And this one is one of my favorites. Somebody read that.
The words of many transgression is not lacking.
When words are what?
Many.
Transgression is not lacking.
But whoever restrains himself is true.
For whoever restrains his lips is prudent. I'm telling you, if you want to walk with good character, study the book of Proverbs. They're not just cute sayings. Trust me, if you can get this in your spirit, if you can get this in your mind, it's going to go to your heart, then you can truly walk around with the love of the Mashiach that we say that we want to have.
Can you go back one? I didn't get the second one. Oh.
Some of us just talk too much. We're just so quick to respond. We always got something to say. There's no way you can constantly spout off at the mouth and not say something that's going to hurt somebody or going to get you in a position that you can't get yourself out of. All right, moving on. Oh, and just in case you forgot, you can always keep this in mind. Ain't nobody got time for that. And people will give you those hands. They will put the paws on you and talk to the wrong people. Just in case you forgot. All right? Go ahead.
What you said about me saying something to him and him saying sorry, usually people will just say sorry and just keep on doing it over and over again. And some people will even people will make them say sorry and they'll just say it really quick and not even look at them and not really mean it.
Yeah, you know, it's not a lot of remorse for when people say certain things or do certain things. You know, that's unfortunate. Okay, what we think. Yah saw the wickedness of man was great in the earth, and that every attention of his what? Thoughts. Of his heart was only evil continually. Look at society. It almost seems as though we're coming to a repeat.
Yeah.
It almost seems as if we're coming to a repeat. What do we got going on right now of evil continually? You got people doing witchcraft, people trying to open up portals to other realms. You got, of course, and that's some of the more outrageous stuff. You got the cloning of animals. You got, yeah, you got all of these things. People, you got, what is it called? They are doing that stuff. Putting other people's kids in dresses. You got people who are attaching robotic body parts to them, not because they have some type of disfigurement, but because they're trying to become a cyborg. Because they are admittedly saying that they're trying to be like God, or they're trying to become God. There are people who are trying to now download their consciousness. Everything that we're seeing in these movies are actually starting to happen. They're getting it from somewhere. They're getting it from something. So this world is actually becoming just like it was at this point. So, you know, they've been, since the time of the writings of the New Testament, people have been thinking that, oh, well, we're in the last days. I also think that we're in the last days. But I think that we're in the last days because now we have the technology, we have the ability to do things that we couldn't do at that time. We have the ability to destroy the earth. We have the ability to not die. If the Most High don't intervene, they're already heading there. All you got to do is research some of these things. The technology is there, uploading your consciousness. I forgot the name of the movie. But yeah, they just upload it to a hard drive. They get another body, and they download it into their brain. And that same person exists in a different body. No, that's not get out. But, I mean, they're harvesting organs and stuff like that as well. And the crazy thing about harvesting organs, you see this says the thoughts of his heart, right? People, if you do the research, there have been instances where transplants, heart transplants, where there was someone who was murdered, right? And they took the organs and they used that organ for a transplant. And that person took on the thoughts, the memories. They begin to have habits that they didn't have before. They begin to have dreams that they didn't have before. Right? So what happens is this person will begin to see their killer. But it wasn't them, right? It was the person who got killed. So they're just carrying a heart around. But now they're having all of these feelings, these dreams. So they help solve the crime. And they found the person. And there are a lot of instances like this where people are picking up habits just from having organ transplants. I don't know if any of you want to donate anything or anything like that. I'm not getting into that. All I'm saying is that it's a lot deeper when you look at the thoughts of the heart. It's a lot deeper than just words. I'm not saying that this is what this means, but in reality, it is. That's what I'm saying. All right? Explain. Okay, we're talking about how we think. How we think, right? Explain what a product of your environment is.
How you raised.
How you're raised. Your social constructs.
Food choices.
Your food choices.
Your environmental influences.
Your influences.
Epigenetics.
Epigenetics. Wow. Okay. I like epigenetics too. Your physical descriptions or your physical makeup.
You become what you grew up around or what you surrounded by.
You become what you grew up around. Right? Okay. Is that good or bad?
Right.
So that goes back to what we said at the beginning, right, about fellowship and about coming together and how we rub off on each other. All right. So think about this. Proverbs 13:20. Whoever walks with the wise become wise. But the companion of who? Will suffer harm. 1 Corinthians 15:33. You see the contrast, right? It's very important who you surround yourself with. Children, youth, it's very important who you surround yourself with.
Yeah. Say it again, Moreh.
Children, youth, it's very important who you surround yourself with. They will rub off on you whether good or bad.
That's right.
Adults, it's no different. We're not immune to it either. We're not immune to it. Have you ever noticed that you hung around somebody and next thing you know, you start taking on some of their mannerisms? They may laugh a certain way, you start laughing similar. Their hand movements, their gestures. Like I move my hands a lot because I'm a poet. So people, you can pick that up. It's not a bad thing, but you can pick it up. But if I do have these bad traits, these bad things that I associate myself with or that I'm involved with, and you're around me, then what happens?
You pick it up.
You pick it up. So your environment will shape the way you think. Your environment will shape the way you act. I didn't want to make a focus area on how we act, because that'll take all day. Right? There's hundreds upon hundreds of scriptures about that. Right? But all of these things here, as we're going to see later, they have a connection, and they all influence the way we act. So being a product of our environment, I'm grateful. Growing up in Detroit, I lived next to a drug house, and the house very next door to us was a drug house, and on the next block on the corner house was also a drug house. I didn't get involved in any of that stuff. My brother, who is currently in jail right now, robbed. We were the second house off the corner. He robbed the fourth house off the corner and took their goods and put it in our garage. This is the type of stuff I grew up around. I go into my garage one day looking for something, and I'm like, all my friends' stuff is here. They are happy as heck. I'm like, how did this get here? And found out it was my oldest brother. But once again, he's in jail. Go figure. But this was the type of environment. And sometimes it's hard for people to escape it. That's just the reality of it. I know some friends who, I remember I just took them out the city. They were driving in the car. I took them to the suburbs. And they was like, oh, wow, this is like a different state. We 5 miles up the road.
Legit.
Like, are you serious?
Wow.
It's so strange and foreign to them. So sometimes you have to change your environment if you want to change the way you think. So once again, be careful who you hang around. Be careful who you associate with. Go ahead, you have your hand raised. You have to be careful who you associate with. The thoughts of the righteous are just, the counsels of the wicked are deceitful. The thoughts of the wicked are an abomination to Yah, but gracious words are pure. Very quick, I'm trying to speed this up. Do not be conformed to this. I could have put this a couple slides later when we're about to get into, but do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the what? Renewing of mind. That you may prove what is good, that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yah. For by the grace given to me, I say to everyone among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. What does that mean? Proud. Everyone's rapping in our community. And check it. A lot of us Morehs, everyone's rapping in us. You can't tell me about no doctrine, bro. No, we're talking about no doctrine. No. I'm not wrong. I'm never wrong. I'm a teacher. I'm a Moreh. It's very bad in our community. And I'm not gonna lie. I check myself daily to make sure that I try not to be what I see. Once again, I'm not putting myself on the pedestal. I'm giving you life experiences, right? This is something I have to constantly do because guess what? Here's the reality. You know how easy it would be for me to get proud? How long have Rebirth ATL been around?
Since May.
Look around.
Hallelujah.
Since May. It's packed. It would be very easy for me to get hardy, right? Very easy. But I'm aware that can happen. So I adjust. You have to check yourself. You have to make these adjustments. If you don't make these little adjustments, the little adjustments are the things that can eventually get to the point to where, yeah, a couple days down the road, that's a small little habit. You don't adjust it, you may be cool. A year later, might be a little problem. 5 years later, it's a bigger problem. 20 years later, it could be the very thing that tarnishes your name and your reputation forever.
That's right.
Just because one thing was unchecked. It's just like weeds. What happens when you let a weed, grow next to the flowers? What happens? You get more weeds. You gotta continually uproot the flowers. Flowers uproot the weeds. So yes, it would be very easy for me to get hardy if I was not aware that would happen.
Right.
So I'm constantly checking my spirit. I'm constantly checking not only my spirit, but my motives. Why am I doing certain things? And so I try to at least surround myself with people who are humble so that those traits can rub off on me. You know? Finally, brothers, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. There's a blueprint in the text that tells you should think like this. But do we think like this? When I first got into my Christian walk, I was attacked by, I believe it was a spiritual attack. I was very, very, very depressed. I was suicidal. If anyone when you believe that your soul is on the line, if you really believe that your soul is on the line, and don't get me wrong, Christianity is very superstitious. So yes, I did adopt those superstitions and I believed a certain way. But check it. If I believe my soul is on the line, that I got to get this right, but I had so much doubt about the text. Eventually, that actually sent me down a road to where it benefited me. And now I see now that all things work together for good. For those who love Yah and called according to his purpose. But at that time, I didn't know that, right? So I was going back and forth with my faith. I felt like that person in the New Testament who said, I believe, but help my unbelief. So I would wrestle with myself over and over and over, and I wanted to kill myself because these thoughts, when they run rampant like this, when you believe that if you don't believe a certain way, you're going to go to hell, and you're new to this, you don't have a real solid foundation, the things that I went through in my mind. I can barely put it to words, but just know that there were many times where I wanted to kill myself because I couldn't take, I would wake up and it's on my mind. And I would go to sleep and it's on my mind. And as I'm saying at the time, Jesus, 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 I'm saying all these things. At this time, I'm like, I don't even know if I believe this. But I want to believe it. My mind was messed up. And so I used to quote 2 Corinthians 10, 3 through 4. Matter of fact, I think it's up here. I think I put it in here. Okay. I used to quote 2 Corinthians, if I can remember it. I think I put it in there. We'll get to it. But I used to go through these things constantly, and it took a lot for me to find. And all praise to the Most High. I believe it was Him who brought me out. But the way that I was thinking was jacked up, and I used to constantly have to work on my thoughts. And it's hard to control your thoughts. It's hard to control them. But that's something that if I was able to think on these things, because I didn't feel like I was able at the time. I got so overwhelmed with the doubt and confusion that I didn't feel like I could do that. I was mentally exhausted, and that's why I wanted to kill myself, because I got tired of feeling that way. I got tired of it. But before any one of you get to that point, this is the blueprint. When a thought that comes into your head that does not belong there, cast it out. Speak against it. Yeah, that sounds Christian. Whatever, dude. Yo, this is life. Right. Yeah, if you ever been at a point to where you're confused and you're having doubt and all this stuff, and you want to kill yourself, yo, forget all what this Christian-ish stuff. No, this is life.
God said it's life.
You got to do something about it.
Right.
This is the blueprint. Anybody ever heard of the placebo effect? Yeah. Okay, so we got 2 and 3. Okay, we got a couple. Okay, when I asked why you didn't raise your hands, now everybody want to start.
Let me get that
Right. Okay. So anybody want to give anybody who've heard of it want to quickly say something about it? Okay, that's cool. It's up there. A placebo is anything that seems to be a real medical treatment but isn't. It can be a pill, a shot, or some type of fake treatment. What all placebos have in common is that they do not contain an active substance meant to affect health. Sometimes a person can have a response to a placebo. The response can be positive or negative. For instance, the person's symptoms may improve, or the person may have what appears to be side effects from the treatment. These responses are known as the placebo effect. How does the placebo effect work? Research on the placebo effect has focused on the relationship of mind and body. What's that? Mind and body. One of the most common theories is that the placebo effect is due to a person's expectations. If a person, what is an expectation? It's something that you what? Looking for. If a person expects a pill to do something, then it is possible that the body's own chemistry can cause effects similar to what a medication might have caused. It's what you think. Look, we have this written text, but there's so many things in the text that if you look for a relation or a correlation on the outside, you can find something. Continuing with this. This is from Harvard Health Publishing. The Power of Placebo Effect, published May 2017. Your mind can be a powerful healing tool when given a chance. The idea that your brain can convince your body a fake treatment is the real thing, the so-called placebo effect, and thus stimulate healing has been around for millennia. Now science has found that under the right circumstances, a placebo can be just as effective as traditional treatment. The placebo effect is more than positive thinking. Believing a treatment or procedure will work. It's about creating a stronger connection between the brain and the body and how they work together, says Professor Ted Kapchuk of Harvard-affiliated Beth Israel Deaconess Medical Center, whose research focuses on the placebo effect. How placebos work is still not quite understood, but it involves a complex neurobiological reaction that includes everything from increases in feel-good neurotransmitters like endorphins and dopamine, and great activity in a certain brain region linked to moods, emotional reactions, and self-awareness. All of it can have a therapeutic benefit. The placebo effect is your way to tell your brain what the body needs to feel better. Remember when I was talking about the energy and everybody has it? How you think is really going to affect your energy that you present. It's not mystical, it's just reality. You ever been in a room with somebody and you're laughing and you're yucking it up, and then somebody come in who got a very bad negative personality, and then it brings the whole life out of the room? You ever been around somebody who you feel good, and then you start talking to them and they complaining. They're a problem at work. They tell you about their whole day, week, month, year. They tell you all of these things. The next thing you know, you feel bad, and they're cool now. They just transfer that energy to you. But the reason why they have these feelings is because of how they think. You could be a pessimist, right? We can have pessimistic attitudes, and this can affect how we think. Our environment affects how we think. Who we hang around affects how we think. And not only that, this is the scripture that I used to quote real quick. For the weapons of our warfare is not carnal but mighty, and Elohim for pulling down strongholds. Expressly 5. Casting down arguments and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of Yah. Remember, I was confused. I was down in confusion and doubt and unbelief. Bringing every thought into captivity into the obedience of Mashiach. What we see. This is the gateway. And this is the last thing we're going to go over. Romans 9. What we see. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is bad, your whole body will be full of what? Darkness. If then the light in you is darkness, how great is that darkness?
What was your scripture?
Matthew 6, 22 through 23. So, let me be real with y'all. Pornography is rampant in our men. The attraction to pornography is strong, it's heavy. We live in a hyper-sexualized society. You don't have to look for it to see a half-naked woman. You can be on your phone, you can be on Facebook, you can be on Instagram, especially Instagram because they got these dang on Instagram models, right? They pop up everywhere. Or you can just drive past and see a billboard of a half-naked woman who is, they're selling lingerie. Now, to somebody who don't have that addiction or that problem, it may not be anything, but for someone who has that issue and they see that, guess what their mind? See, they see it, they're going to what? They're going to think about it. And then when they get a chance, they're going to engage in whatever they need to do to fulfill that lust. What we see is the gateway to everything else and how we respond in this world. Our women, a lot of you, I don't know if it's any of you, but a lot of women like to watch some of these shows.
Oh, come on.
The ratchet ones. The Empire, the Power, the Real Housewives. I don't know if they even showed Scandal. The Love and Hip Hop. I don't know if they still show these. I've never even watched one episode. I don't know, but I've heard about these things. I've seen a clip here and there from people sharing it on the internet. What happens is some of the stuff that they project this homosexuality. They project all of these things where it desensitizes you and it becomes normal. And matter of fact, you do it in the movies. You do it in the movies. You have these intimate scenes, right? Where it's unprotected. These are subliminals. You have these intimate scenes. You see this. They're unprotected. And guess what? How often do they get pregnant in the movie? How often do they get an infection in the movie? No, it's just a nice little passionate scene, right? And then move right along.
Right.
But it does not register to us. Right? So what happens in our community? We start doing these same things, and we get STDs, we get children in real life. We end up having a extremely high, the highest rate of abortion, right?
And HIV.
And HIV.
And
Subliminals from things that we're seeing. It continues to go on and on and on. we have to be careful what we allow ourselves to be entertained by. I'm not telling you not to watch movies because I watch movies. Yeah, it is something, but I watch movies. I'm careful with what I watch. But I watch movies, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you, hey, don't watch the movies. I'm not the type. I'll just give you the information and you make your own decision. Right? But what I want you to do is understand what's happening when we allow these things to happen, when we see these things, because it will affect the way we think. When you see righteousness, you kind of pick up on some of those things. Right? Even if you see the things where they're in the righteousness, they're very insecure and they're always yelling and acting a certain way towards their male figure, their male counterpart. You can also adopt those same traits. And then you can adopt insecurities and project them upon your mate, and you don't have a reason to. Two completely different kinds of people. But you're seeing it. You're allowing yourself to be exposed to it. So we have to be careful, men, women. No, look, I get it. I'm not the type to say I'm just going to live a boring life where I'll never watch anything. But be careful. Know what you can tolerate. Know what you should and should not watch. Because it will affect you. It will. All right? We are pretty much done. Oh, real quick. I will not set before my eyes anything that is worthless. I'm going to read that again. I will not set before my eyes anything that is worthless. I hate the work of those who fall away. It should not cling to me. That was so nice. He had to say it twice. Psalms 119:37. Turn my eyes from looking at worthless things and give me life in your ways. Now, what is the connection of these? We're summing this up. What you see will affect the things you think, will affect how you speak. If all this foul language is in these movies, these videos, these shows that you're watching, eventually it's going to come out of you. Yeah. What's in you will come out of you. So if you're allowing yourself to see it, it's getting in you, and what's in you always comes out of you. In some way, shape, or form, it will manifest. So how do we get over these issues? Because all of this is great, we pointed it out, so how do we adjust? How do we use the Kentucky Windows to get back on the right target?
No.
That's an actual question. What do we do? All right, some of it's going to sound cliche, but the mirror check. This is something that me and my dude, Jay Lutch, the Moreh down in Rebirth, New Orleans, we talked about this. We saw the mirror check. What is the mirror check? Where you're constantly reflecting on yourself and what you need to change. Sometimes it sucks, but sometimes you have to actually write out what it is that you have an issue with. Are you impatient? Are you irritable? Do you have a bad attitude? Do you have a hot temper? Are you quick to respond? Are you angry? Bitter? Sometimes you just have to write these things out. I've done it. It's called taking inventory. I see what it is, now I know what I need to work on. The mirror check. That's something that every single person in here, I don't care what your age is, that you can do, and it can help to keep your development from being arrested. Meditation on the word. It sounds very cliche, but it's very true. Like I said, if you study Proverbs, and when I say, not just read Proverbs, but when you study Proverbs, when you allow yourself to consume it and digest it, it becomes a part of you. And what happens? What comes in you does what? Come out of you. And the last thing, fasting. However, this kind does not go out except by prayer and fasting. Listen, this is my personal opinion. This is my opinion, so don't get upset. But I think, you said the verse? Matthew 17:21. My personal opinion is that if you can't control your appetite, you can't control yourself. I personally believe, once again, this is my opinion, I'm not saying this is what the text is saying, but I personally believe that appetite is connected to your actions. me personally, when I see myself getting to where I'm getting angry all the time, or I'm not able to restrain myself, then I realize I need to fast. I realize I need to fast because what happens is, yes, it hurts. The hunger pains, it hurt. Eating is something that's natural. It is actually unnatural to not eat. So, when you're dealing with some of these habits have become natural. So in order to deal with these natural things like eating, you have to learn how to deal with the unnatural. And the unnatural is to not eat. Once again, this is just something that I've tested on me and it works for me. Maybe you can try it, maybe it's not for you. But I'm just presenting something to consider, that when I know that my actions are getting out of whack, that I gotta fast.
Where can we find more information on the proper ways to fast? Or is it just giving up food, or
It's giving up. It's really giving up. Now, are you speaking biblically, or?
Everything.
So in the scriptures, every time they talk about fasting, it's always correlated with giving up food. It's always correlated with giving up food. As far as drinking, if you're going to, there are some scriptures where they say they did not eat or drink, right?
Yes.
But it's always they don't eat. That's one thing. If something, and I don't call this fasting. Some people do. I don't call it fasting. But when I realize, even with social media, I do it fairly often, where I realize that I'm just picking up my phone all the time. I don't have any notifications. I'm just picking it up because I got used to just picking it up and checking my Facebook and wasting time on it. Then I'll log out. Sometimes I'll delete the app. I'll go looking for it. It's not there. Because I've picked up this habit. It's become a habit. So I got to just do something to get rid of it and get back control of myself. Because that could also, social media is addictive. We don't look at it because it's not a drug, but in reality it is like a drug. As a matter of fact, I can't remember the full, look it up, about the study that was done on Microsoft and the dopamine for whenever you get a like on your pictures. So you post a picture and you're constantly checking because you want to see your likes. And I don't know if they still do it, Facebook is always updating stuff, but they said that when they changed it to where, you open it up and you see these likes and these hearts come up on your screen. Yeah. Did you all see that when that update came? Yeah. That these were like dopamine hits for us. It's like a drug. So we were constantly seeking these things. So we're trying to post stuff this is why people post stuff to get likes. Because it's actually like a drug. You don't have to take my word. Look it up. Look into it. One of the people who helped create the platform went out and started speaking about it, because now he realized that they were wrong. That the way they structured it has done nothing but lead society to what society has become, where they're self-indulgent, and they're seeking out the approval of everyone else. They've given people a drug that every person can take.
Yeah.
So sometimes you got to take a break from that. If you realize that you constantly on it, step back from it. You know what I'm saying? Step back from it. Me, like I say, if my temper is out of control, if my actions are out of whack, I fast. It breaks me down. And then, okay, I'm back. I can control myself better. Because if you control yourself from not eating something that's natural, then you have more strength to control yourself from some of these other things. That's just common.
But as far as resources on fasting,
as far as research on fasting, like I said, you can just Google fasting and just Google that. And that's right there will give you a whole bunch of information about fasting. Or a better fact,
I want to do it the correct way.
Okay, talk to me afterwards. Talk to me afterwards and I'll give you some tips and as far as biblically and stuff like that about how to actual fast, okay? All right, any questions? Because this is the last slide.
I had an observation as far as like when it comes down like influence, as far as like shining our light, as far as using something as a tool as opposed to something influencing us. I'm just sharing that.
Yeah, You say using or influence?
Um,
Using or influence or being influenced?
like for example, social media.
Okay.
As far as being able to influence or that's one thing, influence. Something influencing me and me having the power to influence it, whether it's
That's the double-edged sword of social media. You can be influenced by social media, and you can influence people. I've had people inbox me, especially when I first started waking up, when I just started posting things and stuff like that. I had people who would never like it. They would never comment, but would inbox me. Curious. What am I talking about? I'm interested. I was thinking the same thing. So, it can be beneficial to, use your influence on social media. Just, my thing is with social media, do not let it become in your mindset that that's the work of the Most High.
Right.
That's all that we need to be doing. If you are on there, and the debates that constantly keep happening, we need to focus on us. We spend too much time entertaining people who don't have our best intentions at heart. So we need to start focusing on us more. So yes, use Facebook. If you're on Facebook, use Facebook to your advantage. Use it to your advantage. Use any social media that you have to your advantage. But don't become so consumed of it where it becomes needed.
And that's all.
Don't let it confuse you. Go ahead.
Then I also wanted to share as far as like when Israel came out of Egypt, the fact that we was together all the time also helped could strengthen our faith and the fact of the type of captivity that we in today, where everybody go their separate way, and we don't, okay, we got Shabbat, but for them other 6 days, it's our war.
Community,
That's something that we actually talk about quite often here, where we don't want it to be church, where you go 6 days, you don't speak to anyone, you come back. The thing that we wanted to do is we wanted to create something that felt like family.
Yes.
Where we try to get together. Now, people still have their schedules. I absolutely 100% agree with you. That bugs me. That bugs me deeply, where all we do is we just focus on Shabbat. See, our minds, I don't know what has happened with us in this point to where, first of all, Shabbat is just, hey, you gotta act like this, you gotta look like this. Like this is different, right? I'm relaxed. I asked a bunch of questions. I'm not afraid to laugh, crack a joke. It's cool. It's the word. We're together. We family. But this mindset where it has to look like this, it has to do this. We just grab the Bibles, let's go, and that's it. And even still, you go about your business. I've been to certain places who does that type of stuff, and that's not the direction that I want to go. I want to create something that is a family feeling, to where we can get together on Sundays, because that's one of the days where most of us are free, because we ain't going to church, so we get together on Sundays. Let's do something. Actually, she said that. There's a good amount of us who try to get together after the Shabbat, and we'll spend the entire day together, the entire Shabbat. And sometimes, we won't leave till like 1 a.m.
Very often.
We ain't got nothing to do the next day.
Right.
We'll be playing Uno or cards or whatever. Or just talking. We just try to spend more time with each other, and we build relationships. We are really about building relationships, because look, what is this? What is this? We just gonna go gather, hear somebody speak, and then go home. I'm not cool with that. That don't work for me. I can stay home. Keep it real. I can stay home. Afterwards, I hope y'all stay so that people can fellowship afterwards. We got food here. But if you can't stay, that's cool. I'm not saying anything about you. I'm saying what I want. That's not what I want. And since I just so happen to be a Moreh, then I have the ability to create the atmosphere that I want. That's one of the benefits of me being a Moreh. So, hey, I've been to these other places when I wasn't one, and okay, maybe it's cool, but it's not quite what I want. Now, I just so happen to have this platform now, right? So now I can create what I want. As long as it's still doing the will of the Most High. And guess what? Fellowshipping with each other, that's absolutely the will of the Most High. So, and it's cultural. So this is what we try to do. This is what we're about. And so, you know, that's it. I can talk about that forever.
Come back.
I'm really, that's something that I'm really passionate about. You can ask some of the people who've been here. That's something that really, I'm really passionate about. So, any other things before we wrap this up?
So just so I can get a little bit of clarity. Technically, today is the only day that we come together, or is there other days that you try to bring everybody together?
This is the Shabbat. So this is the day where, as long as we have availability in the library, that we're going to come together. Now, outside of that, we try to do things where we get together. Sometimes we go over people's houses, just like these holidays. We don't celebrate holidays. But guess what? We got a day off, right? Why wouldn't we get together? I mean, I'm not saying everybody can get together, but why shouldn't we? We can't be so bitter where, hey, I hate these holidays so much that I don't want to be around nobody. I don't want to give any impression. No. Fool.
That's a free day.
It's a free day.
To build, to get to know each
Build
other.
relationships. They will help you when you're struggling. They will help you when you need someone. Build relationships. Build them with each other. Build them with me. I want to be in your lives in some way, shape, or form as a friend, as a brother, as whatever, right? Build relationships. It's bigger. It's bigger than just coming together on a Shabbat. It's bigger than that. That's what we're commanded to do.
Right.
That's not just what we should do. That's what we're commanded to do. But we can do more. That's the whole thing. You can do more to get together, to be a family.
So can I just interject to that? Here at Rebirth Atlanta, we also create a lot of events, and I know he'll go into announcements in a minute, but we've done, men's night. They got their own chat that none of us see, but, you know, they get together, they talk, whatever, you know, that's fine. Kids activities, we're trying to work on that, where they can get together, we have kids. Married couples, we just had a married couples night out, or we went to see Creed. You don't see the movie anyway. Might as well, you know, go and be amongst each other. Women's events, so we're very, very big. Like my husband said, really big on community and relationship.
We got a children's event coming on. I'm not going to sit on it because they're still recording, but afterwards I'm going to talk about it. But we got a children's event coming up. I think it's, what was it?
The 27th.
The 27th. For the kids to get together. And there's other things that I've talked to a few guys about where I want to get the kids together, especially like for me, the boys, get them together with the men and do something with them to help them get a chance to grow, right? And see how men are supposed to behave and how you can live this life and live a righteous life and not just be in a house where you're trying to close yourself off.
Right.
I'm not cool with that. So I've talked to a few guys in here about that. That's something that I plan on doing. That's something that I want to do. That's a desire. I've never been fishing. There's a couple guys who've been fishing. We can go fishing. We can do this. There's no reason why we shouldn't.
Shooting.
Oh, yeah. We're supposed to be going. As a matter of fact, we need to, I'm glad you said that. The men, we're trying to go to the range soon. So, but even something like that, right? I mean, we're doing it together as family, right? So let's spend time together. Let me wrap this up, and we can keep talking afterwards. But we need to spend time with each other. This walk is hard enough by yourself.
Very much.
This walk is hard enough by yourself. So if you got somebody to lean on, if you got somebody to laugh with, yo, trust me. Since I start connected with certain people, my family, I ain't gonna point them out. But since I start connected with certain people here, yo, my time has been so much better when I start spending it with people, man. I'm telling you, it was so much better than when I was just going to a place and just going home. I'm just keeping it real. So, you know, we'll get to that. But let me go ahead and pray, so then if we want to keep talking, we can keep talking. Abba Yah, Most High Elohim. We give you praise, honor, and glory on your set apart Shabbat. We thank you for bringing people together here today, Father, for getting them here safely, for allowing them to, for all of us to be in a presence as family, as a community, Father. What you wanted from us from the beginning. To treat each other with love and respect and to genuinely care about each other, Father. We pray that the things that have been displayed today in the lesson, Father, to address how we think, how we speak, how we deal with each other, that these things will manifest inside of us and permeate out of us, and that we can influence each other to walk in righteousness, but also to enjoy life. Father, we give you praise, honor, and glory. And we ask that you forgive us for anything that we may have done, anything that we may have thought that has been unlike you, any words that we have spoken, Father, that has hurt someone, that has affected them in a negative way, Father. We ask for your forgiveness. And I pray that we will speak to those people, if possible, and make amends. And even if you don't walk away as friends, but as reconciliation that can occur with something that can help the healing process, like an apology. Father, this life isn't easy. We're thankful for it, but it's not easy, Father. So we ask that you shine your light upon us, that you give us direction, that you give us wisdom and understanding so that we may know when to speak and when not to speak, what to think and when not to speak, and how to act, Father, and how to get self-control so that we can be that light. Father, we were in Israel, we were in the land, and we were supposed to be that light. And you scattered us because we wasn't. So now in the places where we have been scattered, we should become little light bulbs all across the world, shining, showing multiple people, whether they are of the covenant or not of the covenant, what the light looks like. So we thank you, and we ask that you direct us. In the name of your Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, we humbly pray. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.